Hello my yogis and welcome to Towne Yoga. My name is Amy and today I'm going to take you through a yin yoga sequence that targets opening our hips, providing a little bit of low back pain relief. This is a practice that's special to me because I do have chronic low back pain, and in yoga there can be some poses if you have chronic pain that really do help and provide some relief, but of course some that don't, and even some that don't feel good and you should avoid. So it's really important to take time to explore different types of yoga, different poses, sequences, to find what helps you. I was really fortunate enough to take yin yoga classes where I did get some low back pain relief, which is a really big thing when you have chronic pain. So I wanted to share with you a few of the poses that I found that helped me a lot with my low back pain. Maybe there are other yogis or individuals out in the world who this sequence works for as well. If so, I'm so happy that you're here. Yin yoga is a type of yoga where we hold the poses for a lot longer. So we're going to be in each pose for about 5 minutes. When we come to the sidedness, I'll use my little timer here so we can have evenness on each side, 5 minutes on each. Because of that, when you come into a pose, you don't have to come 100% into your deepest stretch. Instead, find about 60-70% of your range of motion, your lengthening or stretch. And then over time in the pose, you'll just be able to breathe and release a little bit deeper into it. So with that, I'll also mention I'll use some props today in this practice. The first is going to be a blanket underneath my head. I just like this as a personal preference so I can lengthen the back of my neck. So if you want to try that, go ahead and grab a blanket for your head or neck. I'll also use a bolster for supported savasana when we come to start our practice. If you have a bolster, you can grab that. If not, maybe roll up a blanket into a similar shape and you can have it here. And then lastly, I'm going to use the yoga block when we come into supported bridge and some deep hip flexor stretches from there. If you don't have a block, you can do the same poses without the block underneath your low back, which is where we're going to put it. So completely up to you. If you have a block, I definitely recommend trying it out with the block, but if not, you'll enjoy the sequence just the same. And again, it's all about exploring and finding what works in your body. With that, we're going to start our yin practice laying on our back with the bolster underneath your legs. And you can place this under your thighs, knees, or calves. It's kind of your preference. I like it underneath my thighs, so feel free to experiment a little bit here as you come to laying on your back. Taking your time to find a comfortable position. Because in this opening spot, we do want to be able to relax and release down a bit. So finding where the bolster feels best under your legs. And you can bring your palms just face up by your sides. Or maybe you take one hand on your belly and one on your chest to kind of feel your breath. Wherever it feels best for you, yogis. And as you slowly find your stillness here, begin to draw attention to your breath. Just taking a few rounds to feel the rhythm of your breath and where it's going today. On your next inhale, feel the air come in through your nose. Your belly and chest gently rise as you fill. Begin to notice that pause at the very top of your breath. Before you exhale out your nose, your belly and chest compressing back down towards your spine. Pausing again at the bottom of your breath. before drawing fresh air back in to repeat this mindful cycle again, rising and falling with your inhales and exhales. During your next few breaths, let your body become heavy with each exhale, just relaxing down into the support of your props and the earth. Taking one last slow round of breath here before drawing your knees up towards your chest, bringing one hand to rest on top of each shin, and just gently rock side to side, massaging out your lower back here. Pausing again in stillness. Extend your legs straight, sending your feet towards the sky, and let your hands just rest by your sides. Take a moment to flex your toes back towards your shins, feeling a stretch over the bottom of your foot, and tracing that over your heels at the backs of your legs. Just pausing here for a moment, maybe wiggle your toes. And coming to our reclined bound angle pose, send your knees out wide as you draw the soles of your feet together, making a diamond shape with your legs. As you set the pinky toe of each foot down onto your bolster with your knees out wide, soles of your feet coming in together. You might need to adjust where your bolster is to find a comfortable spot here. And if it's too much, you can always slide your feet off your bolster, lessening the pose a little as it supports your knees. Or come back into that full expression with your feet on top of the bolster. Palms face up by your sides. As you slow down and breathe here. Sometimes in these slower practices, like a yin class, it's easy for your mind to wander. When it does, just gently guide your mind back to the present moment by noticing where you are in your breath cycle and following that through to the end before mindfully repeating, feeling your chest and belly rise with each inhale, noticing the pause you take before your belly and chest compress back with your exhale, noticing the pause at the bottom of your breath before drawing air back in to repeat the cycle again. Let your breath continue to guide you in this posture, finding a bit of lightness as you inhale, lengthening through your inner thighs as you exhale, letting gravity help bring some openness to this area without forcing. Just gently lengthen as you exhale. Allow your next few rounds of breath to be a little bit deeper, drawing air down into your belly and feeling it all the way in your hips. Begin to take your hands to your outer thighs. And with no rush, draw your knees in towards each other, using your palms to lift your legs. When your knees do come together, draw them up to your chest and just pause for a moment. From here, we're just going to move our bolster out of the way, so just take it off to the side, so you can use it again at the end of class if you'd like, back in Savasana. And then set your feet down just in front of your hips. And for supported bridge, we want our feet about 2 fist-width distance apart, so that your heels, knees, and hip bones are all in a straight line. And then your heels are nice and close into your bum. You might even be able to touch them with your fingertips. Before we lift up into a bridge, I want you to press your back down into your mat. Really letting your abdominals engage here as you press everything down to the earth. Tucking your tailbone under, begin to lift up the very bottom of your spine. Continue to curl your hips up to the sky as one vertebrae leaves the earth. Finally lifting your chest. And then from here, take your block and slide it underneath your back. I'd recommend the lowest level if it's your first time in this practice. And you're just going to take this block to the very base of your spine, the very top of the crack of your bum, and then lower down to the earth, so that your sacrum, the flat bone at the base of your spine, is supported by the block, and the block supported by the ground. And you can let your palms rest face down by your sides or face up, yogi's choice. As you just pause here in a few breaths in supported bridge. Again, letting the props support you as your body becomes heavy back down towards the earth. Finding your breath again here. From here, we're going to transition into a deeper hip flexor stretch. I like to mention that if it ever doesn't feel right for you, you can always return to this supported bridge, or if you know that this feels really good, feel free to stay just here. For our deeper hip flexor stretch, I'm going to set the timer for our first side. Feeling the block really supporting your low back, your bum here. You're going to begin to draw your left knee up towards your chest. And then interlace your fingers, bringing your hands either behind your thigh, letting your calf just rest down, or on top of your shin if that feels better for you. Yogi's choice, either one. And then with your left knee up towards your chest, you're just going to slowly walk your right foot away, just one step at a time. If there's a spot that feels good to pause at, you can just pause there. Or maybe continue to walk your right foot away until it's completely straight with your heel down on your mat and your right toes pointing up to the sky. And this is one of those poses where you want to find about 60 to 70% of your openness and then gently lengthen through the posture as we breathe. If your hands aren't accessible to bring around your thigh or shin, you can always take a towel or a strap and wrap that around and then hold the ends of that as well. In this pose, begin to bring your attention back to your breath again. Breathing down into your belly just to check in on how things feel in your hips. As you gently exhale, lengthening through the front of your right hip as your left knee becomes heavier towards your chest. We don't want any uncomfortable pinching at the front of the left hip. If you feel that, try opening your knee a little wider to the side and see if that feels better for you. And as you breathe here, finding your physical stillness, allow just the rhythm of your breath to be your movement. Without forcing, just let gravity help lengthen you in this pose. Inhaling down into your belly and your hips. Exhaling heavy onto the block as your right hip lengthens, drawing your left knee to chest. We'll take our last slow breath here and the stretch on this side. To come out, you're going to begin to draw your right heel up towards the block as you bend your knee. Letting the sole of your foot come down in front of your block. As you extend your left leg straight towards the sky, flexing toes to shin. And then bend your left knee as you set your foot down next to your right. Pausing here in supported bridge for just a few breaths before we take that on our second side. And here for our second side, you're just going to begin to draw your right knee up towards your chest, interlacing your fingers behind your thigh or on top of your shin, or taking a towel or strap around either one of those areas as you hug your thigh towards your torso. Begin to gently walk your left foot away, just one step at a time. And maybe you come all the way out, extending your left leg straight, letting your heel rest to the earth with your toes up to your sky. And as you find the posture here, remember, there's no force. No force of movement here, just letting your body naturally relax through the pose. Letting gravity be the force, I guess, as it presses down on your left thigh. Feeling that lengthening through the front of your left hip here as you draw your right thigh towards your chest very gently. For your next few breaths, really feel each inhale coming down into your belly and the hips. Each exhale allowing you to be heavy onto your prop or the earth. And just breathe here, releasing on your second side. Giving yourself the time to relax into the pose, even when there's discomfort. If your mind wanders, gently guide it back to the present moment, noticing where you are in your breath and following it through as it connects you to what's going on in your hips. Really staying present in this pose. In your stillness, notice the rhythm of your breath, the gentle movements from your inhales and exhales. Enjoy your last breath here on this side. As you slowly bend your left knee, drawing your heel back towards your block, before extending your right leg straight, toes to shin, and then releasing your right foot down next to your left. Pausing again in supported bridge for a round of breath here. From here, we're going to come off our block. So press down into your heels and begin to lift your hips up. And just take your block off to the side, out of the way. As you set your spine back down to the earth, one vertebrae at a time. Pausing again at the bottom. We're going to come into a twist that I found is really great for the outer hip, for your torso, and kind of into the low back. To come into this twist, we're going to start with a figure 4. So you'll just extend your left foot up to the sky, and then take the outside of your left ankle and place it on top of your right knee, letting your left knee open out to the left. And before we twist, you can just gently press your left knee away, feeling your right hip stay grounded to the earth. And then for this twist, you're just going to turn this left foot over to the right side, bring it all the way down to the earth. My foot is just under the dog bed, so you might not see it, but the sole of my right foot, my left foot is down to the earth. And the sole of my right foot is just extending out towards this opposite wall. From here, you can take your right palm and just gently press against your left inner thigh. And your left arm can just stay by your side, or maybe open out wide into a T if that feels good. And in this twist, with your left knee facing up to the sky, you're just going to take the time to breathe and really feel the opening over the outside edge, left edge of your body. Wherever you place your right hand is up to you. You could even leave it on the earth if you don't want to press your thigh. But I find pressing this inside of the thigh away really finds a deep stretch for me over the left hip here. And the last few breaths to this side. Just take a little bit of time to release and relax in the pose. To come out, you're going to take your right palm and just place it right behind your knee. And use that to help lift your left knee back to the center. As you come onto the sole of your right foot again, returning back into that figure 4. Just setting hands down your sides as you lift your left foot to the sky. And then set it down next to your right. Pausing again in your bottom of your bridge pose. And just taking 2 to 3 breaths here, just resetting at the center. Begin to extend your right leg straight. And then set the outer edge of your right ankle on top of your left knee. Taking your right hand to your right knee and gently press it away from your body. And then to come down into your twist, you're going to take the sole of your right foot, bringing it over to the left side of your body. And when you step that down to the ground, you'll just bring your left hand to your inner thigh, gently pressing away. Your right hand down by your side, or opened out into a T. And here, same as our first side, just let the breath guide you in the pose. Taking time to just feel your inhales and exhales and notice how things feel on the second side. As you begin to settle in, start to feel the lightness that can come with your inhales, finding a little space in your right hip, and then the length that can come with your exhales, releasing your torso down towards the earth. As you press into your right thigh, finding length over the side of your body. Continue to be gentle with yourself here, as the hips can hold a lot of tension, and as you release, it can feel uncomfortable. So if you feel some of that discomfort in this twist, just turn back to your breath again, feeling your inhale down into your belly, And your exhale as you come heavy to the earth. Holding this twist for just a few more deep rounds of breath. Our last pose before we come back to supported Savasana. So just take a few breaths to release here. Begin to bring your left hand to the crux of your knee and use that to draw that knee back to the center line. Your left foot returning to the earth. Your hands come down by your sides as you extend your right leg to the sky, toes to shin. And then set your foot down next to your left. From your bridge, just press your heels to the earth to lift your hips to the sky. And then set your hips back down, bringing knees to chest so you can slide your bolster back under your thighs, knees or calves, setting each heel to the bottom corner of your mat. As you turn your palms up and just pause here for a few breaths, finding a little bit of low back release in your resting pose. I'm going to leave you here, my yogis. I hope you enjoyed this yin practice. Take time to notice how you feel after and see if it would be something good to repeat throughout your week. If you like this video, please don't hesitate to share it with your friends. Comment on what you'd like or what poses do give you some pain relief. It'd be great to know so I can include them in a future practice. I'm going to bring my hands to heart to let you know that the light in me honors and respects the light in you. Namaste.